Here we have problem 13 from chapter 4, lesson number 1, and it involves the chain rule, but it also has the product rule embedded in it. And we want to evaluate f prime of x at x equals 1. So we first have to take the derivative. And so we'll first notice that we can't distribute this leading x here because the rest of the function, x cubed minus x plus 5 to the 3/2 power, is of course a radical. So let's go ahead and set up our product rule definition. Of course, we have that f equals x, and the derivative of x is just 1. And then let's take a look at g. G is going to be this entire expression, x cubed minus x plus 5 to the 3/2 power. So the big picture is I'm taking the expression x cubed minus x plus 5 and I'm raising it to the 3/2 power. So this is a good problem to practice the chain rule. So we're going to take the derivative and we're going to leave the highlighted section alone. Just use the power rule, and then we're going to multiply that by the derivative of the highlighted section. So this would be the derivative of g is equal to 3/2 to the x cubed minus x plus 5, and then the power rule says to subtract 1 from that, and then we're going to multiply it by, let's change colors, multiply that by the derivative of the inside, which was highlighted, so that's 3x squared minus 1. Alright, so I'm not sure we can really clean that up any. Oh, sure we can. We can at least put the exponent correctly. So we have 3/2 x cubed minus x plus 5. 3/2 minus 1 would be to the 1/2 power. And then multiplied by 3x squared minus 1. Alright, so now we can just put this back together, and we're noticing that we're going to have to just evaluate this at x equals 1 once we find the derivative. So down here we'll do the product rule. We have f and g plus f and g. So the derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. So let's just put it all together. We have 1 times g. So we have x cubed minus x plus 5 to the 3/2 power plus f times this entire derivative that we had to use the chain rule on. So we have 3/2 x cubed minus x plus 5 to the 1/2 power times 3x squared minus 1. Okay, and this is the derivative of the entire function. Well, we can go ahead and evaluate it at 1 anytime we'd like. So evaluating it at x equals 1, just plugging in a 1 to this newly formed derivative, we have 1 cubed minus 1 plus 5 to the 3/2 power plus 1 times 3/2, still the same quantity, 1 minus 1 plus 5 to the 1/2 power. And then we have 3 times 1 squared, so 3 minus 1, which is 2. And of course this is just 5 to the 3/2 power. Let's change colors. We have 5 to the 3/2 power. It's really tough to write with this. And then we have plus 3/2, and this is just 5, the square root of 5, 1/2 power, times 2. Well, you can see that, hopefully you can see that this 2 can cancel out with 2 in the denominator here, and we're just left with the quantity 5 cube root of 5 squared plus 3 times the square root of 5. And if you need to evaluate that and find a decimal answer, let's see if we can do that. Let's see, we have 5 raised to the I sure did make a mistake, didn't I? It's to the 3/2 power, so let me correct that real quick. Whoops. Let me show you where my mistake was. That's to the 3/2 power, right? And I surely wrote this incorrectly right here. It should be to the 3rd power there. And of course the radical is the square root, so let's change the other one over here so we don't get too confused. And that would be the 3rd power. Okay. And let's go back to our calculator and see if we can enter this in correctly. To the 3/2 power plus the quantity 3 times 5 to the 1/2 power, our square root. And this should do it. Whoops. There we are, 17.889. Alright, hopefully this one helps, and we'll take a look at one of the earlier ones in the next video.